Tribals, nomads, and settled communities. Introduction. Have you seen some people dressed in typical clothes, moving from one place to another? These people live in tents and shift from one place to another, carrying their belongings in animals. These people are called nomads. In the medieval India, there were several tribes of nomads who gained power and established their kingdoms. In this chapter, you will study about such tribes and communities and their struggle for power. Tribal societies, how they lived. In large parts of the subcontinent, society was divided according to the rules of the Varna. These rules were prescribed by the Brahmins and accepted by the rulers of large kingdoms. However, there were many societies which did not follow these rules and rituals. Such societies were called tribes. There were several tribes throughout the subcontinent. Some were pastoralist, while the other tribes obtained their livelihood from agriculture. Pastoralists were nomads who kept on moving along with their animals in search of grazing grounds. They lived on milk and other pastoral products. They also exchanged wool, ghee, etc. with settled agriculturists for grain, cloth, utensils, and other products. Some of them made and sold wares such as ropes, reeds, straw matting, and coarse sacks. Many pastoral tribes reared and sold animals, such as cattle and horses, to the prosperous people. There were castes of entertainers who performed in different towns and villages for their livelihood. Some nomads practiced shifting cultivation, under which they migrated from one region to another in search of fertile land. Under shifting agriculture, patch of land was cleared by cutting and burning the trees. Seeds are planted in the group, and after 2 or 3 years, the clearing is abandoned as the yield decreases owing to weeds, soil erosion, and loss of soil fertility. Then a fresh clearing is made and the community migrates to that area. Some tribes combined with their activities to make full use of the natural resources of the area in which they lived. Members of each tribe were united by kinship bonds. A tribal group controlled land and pastures jointly and divided these amongst households according to its rules. Tribes in medieval India. Many large tribes thrived in different parts of the subcontinent. They usually lived in forest hills, deserts, and places difficult to reach. The area and influence of a tribe varied at different points of time. Some powerful tribes controlled large territories. In Punjab, the Kokhar tribe was very influential during the 13th and the 14th centuries. Later, the Gakhars became more important. Their chief, Kamal Khan Gakhar, was made a Mansabdar by Emperor Akbar. In Multan and Sindh, the Langas and Arghuns dominated extensive regions before they were subdued by the Mughals. The Balochis were another large and powerful tribe in the northwest. The shepherd tribe of Gaddis lived in western Himalaya, while the distant northeastern part of the subcontinent too was entirely dominated by the Nagas, Ahoms, and others. In many areas of present-day Bihar and Jharkhand, Chero chiefdoms had emerged by the 12th century. Raja Man Singh, Akbar's famous general, attacked and defeated the Cheros in 1591. A large amount of booty was taken from them, but they were not entirely subdued. Under Aurangzeb, Mughal forces captured many Chero fortresses and subjugated the tribe. The Mundas and Santals were among the other important tribes that lived in this region and also in Orissa and Bengal. The Maharashtra highlands in Karnataka were home to Kolis, Berads, and numerous others. Kolis also lived in many areas of Gujarat. Further south there were large tribal populations of Koragas, Vetars, Maravars, and others. The large tribes of Bhils occupied the regions of western and central India. By the late 16th century, many of them had become settled agriculturists, and some even zamindars. But many Bhil clans remained hunter-gatherers. The Goons were found in great numbers across the present-day state of Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh. The Banjaras were the most important trader nomads. Their caravan was called Tanda. Sultan Alauddin Khilji used the Banjaras to transport grain to the city markets. Emperor Jahangir wrote in his memoirs that the Banjaras carried grain on their bullocks from different areas and sold it in the towns. They transported food grains for the Mughal army during military campaigns. The Ahoms. The Ahom was an important tribe of medieval period. Sukafa established the Ahom kingdom in parts of present-day Assam and ruled it for nearly 600 years, that is, from 1228 AD to 1826 AD. The Ahoms migrated to the Brahmaputra Valley from present-day Myanmar in the 13th century. They created a new state by suppressing the older political system of Bhuyans, landlords. The Ahom kingdom then consolidated its power for the next 300 years or so. The Ahoms brought with them the technology of wet rice cultivation that they shared with other groups. The people that took to the Ahom way of life and polity were incorporated into their fold in a process of Ahomization. As a result of this process, many communities like Barahi, Nagas, and Maran peoples became Ahoms, thus enhancing the Ahom numbers significantly. The first major expansion was at the cost of the Chutia kingdom, which was annexed in 1522 under Sohungmong. The expansion was due to mainly two reasons. One was the strong military power of the Ahoms, and second was change in the Ahoms' social and political outlook. For example, Sohungmung was the first Ahom king to adopt a Hindu name, that is, Swarganarayan. By the middle of the 16th century, the Ahoms were in control over eastern Assam. The 17th century, after the Battle of Ittakhuli in 1682, that marked the end of the Ahom-Mughal conflict. Much of the control of Koch Hajo fell into the hands of the Ahoms. The Ahoms built a large state, and for this they used firearms as early as the 1530s. By the 1660s, They could even make high-quality gunpowder and cannons. However, the Ahoms faced many invasions from the southwest. In 1662, the Mughals under Mir Jumla attacked the Ahom kingdom. Despite their brave defense, the Ahoms were defeated. But this direct control of Mughal could not last long. The Ahom state depended upon forced labor. Those forced to work for the state were called paiks. Each village had to send a number of paiks by rotation. People from heavily populated areas were shifted to less populated places. As a result, Ahom clans were broken up. By the first half of the 17th century, the administration became quite centralized. Almost all adult males served in the army during war. At other times, they were engaged in building dams, irrigation systems, and other public works. Originally, the Ahoms worshipped their own tribal gods. During the first half of the 17th century, however, the influence of the Brahmins increased. Temples and Brahmins were granted land by the king. In the reign of Sib Singh, 1714 to 1744, Hinduism became the predominant religion. But the Ahom kings did not completely give up their traditional beliefs after adopting Hinduism. Ahom society was very sophisticated. Poets and scholars were given land grants. Theatre was encouraged. Important works of Sanskrit were translated into local language. Historical works known as Buranjis were also written, first in the Ahom language and then in Assamese. The Goons. Goons, like Ahoms, were another tribal people who fought against big powers for their survival. Even at present, they are the largest tribe in central India. Most of the historians believe that Goons settled in Gondwana, now known as eastern Madhya Pradesh, between the 9th and the 13th centuries. They practiced shifting cultivation. The large Gond tribe was further divided into many smaller clans. Each clan had its own Raja. Though they failed to establish a large state like that of the Ahoms, but still they managed to rule over small independent territories for a long time. They ruled in 4 kingdoms, that is, Garamandala, Deoghar, Chanda, and Kerala in central India between the 16th and mid-18th centuries. About the time that the power of the Delhi sultans was declining, a few large Gond kingdoms were beginning to dominate the smaller Gond chiefs. The Akbarnama, a history of Akbar's reign, mentions the Gond kingdom of Garakatanga that had 70,000 villages. The administrative system of the Gond tribe was centralized, that is, the kingdom was divided into Gads. Each Gad was controlled by a particular Gond clan. This was further divided into units of 84 villages called Chaurasi. The Chaurasi was subdivided into Barhots, which were made up of 12 villages each. With the emergence of large states, the nature of Gond society changed. Their basically equal society gradually got divided into unequal social classes. Brahmins received land grants from the Gond Rajas and became more influential. The Gond chiefs now wished to be recognized as Rajputs. Rani Durgavati has an important place in the history of Gond tribe. She was very capable lady and started ruling on behalf of her 5-year-old son Bir Narayan. Under her, the kingdom became even more extensive. In 1565, the Mughal forces under Saf Khan attacked Gada Katanga. A strong resistance was put up by Rani Durgavati. She was defeated and preferred to die rather than surrender. Her son too died fighting soon after. Gad Katanga was a rich state. It earned much wealth by trapping and exporting wild elephants to other kingdoms. When the Mughals defeated the Goons, they captured a huge booty of precious coins and elephants. They annexed parts of the kingdom and granted the rest to Chandra Shah, an uncle of Bir Narayan. Despite the fall of Gad Katanga, the Gond kingdoms survived for some time. However, they became much weaker and later struggled unsuccessfully against stronger Bundelas and Marathas.